has just pulled away from his pits. 4 tire stop, a slight air pressure adjustment. He was a little tight from the center off, a close call because the tire almost slipped away into the next pit stall. They caught it, so no penalty from them. Pitting this crew today, pitting for Joey Logano today is Denny Hamlin's Cup crew, who came over from Richmond along with the 20 Nationwide Series crew for the Joe Gibbs Racing. But a close call twice already for Joey Logano, and his spotter, Joey Savali, has been working with him for 4 years. So Joey Logano is very comfortable with his spotter, Joey Savali.
And amazingly enough, Joey Logano comes out first. He had the first pit stall, but coming out second was the 18 of Billy Leslie, and amazingly enough, his tire carrier got hit by the 46 of Matt Carter, and it completely flipped him over, and he was still able to get back up, put that tire on the car, and they were able to come out second after that pit stop. Unbelievable, I guess, endurance by that kid to be able to get back up and do that.
Ricky Stenhouse actually beat Joey Logano off of pit road. So
okay.
Great call by lumping his guys to get that car out first.
So the 99 was able to get out in front of the 25. That's the first time anyone has been in front of the 25 today on this racetrack.
Now, he may not be the leader because right now Michael Annett is still on the racetrack, and he may have had to use one of his sets of tires after that incident he was involved in. So he may feel as though he cannot afford to put his second set of tires from the pits on right now. So Ricky Stenhouse won the battle off pit road, but he may not necessarily be leading when we restart this race.
And Michael Annett was the benefactor of the Aaron's lucky dog early on because he got a lap down after being involved in that first accident. So now Michael Annett, maybe the benefactor of that lucky dog, could take him up to the front.
We saw what happened last week at Kansas with Scott Speed. He got a lap down because of the window net thing. He ended up getting the Aaron's lucky dog, came back to win that race. Justin Allgaier has also stayed on the racetrack. He's now running in the second spot. Ricky Stenhouse is the first car that came down pit road, and he runs third right now.
Then it's Joey Logano in fourth and Billy Leslie rounding out our top 5. Matt Carter followed him off of pit road and is scored in 6th. Then it's Ken Schrader and 9-time series champion Frank Kimmel, 7th and 8th. 9th is the 09, the young John West Townley, and rounding out our top 10, the 39 of Matt Hawkins.
There's a view from Matt Carter's Stein seat on board. I was talking to Larry Clement, who owns this car and owned it for all those championships driven by Frank Kimmel, and he was telling me that the Stein Seed Company was just named the #1 innovator in food, beverage, and tobacco patents.
Wow.
In the world.
That's impressive.
Sure is.
Again, it's our 4th caution of the day. Staying out on the racetrack, Michael Annett captures the top spot, so he's leading laps at the Rock. The strong car has been Joey Logano. We'll see if he can get back up front. Think you know how the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Racing is going down? Then log on to speedtv.com today to play the Fantasy Cup All-Star Challenge. You can win 2 race tickets with Speed VIP access. It's free to play, so log on to speedtv.com today. You know how it's all going down, don't you, Phil?
Absolutely.
Or at least in your fantasy world, you know how it's all going down.
Is that a personal indictment?
It is not at all. It is not at all. We're riding along on the 46 with Matt Carter, currently in the 6th spot. Looking out over the Mallory ignition box. Take a look at our Aaron's lucky dog recipient as he comes back out onto the racetrack.
Okay, I said, got cars at 55. 1 to go next time. 1 to go next time.
Mike Harmon, the benefactor there.
Let's see if we can establish some communication with Joey Logano. Hey, Joey Logano, Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. You have a copy? Joey, early on, that car has looked awfully good. Now, you're going to have a couple cars that have older tires than you, and then the one Ricky Stenhouse that has the same tires as you. But any problems so far?
No problems. Maturity Motorsports car is pretty good right now. We're pretty good there on the long haul, so stay out of trouble here, get through these cars with no tires, and get back out front and cruise around a little bit.
Had a couple of close calls. That this most recent incident happened right in front of you, as well as you having to dodge that 22 car, Ken Butler.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of lap cars out here. but you know, you just gotta dodge them, get around them. Not too many of them know where they're going. So.
All right, got one to go. Get ready for this restart. Good luck, Joey.
M4, thanks, guys.
So Joe Logano relinquishing the lead after Michael Annett stayed out on the racetrack.
But remember, Michael Annett is going to have probably 25 green flag laps more on his tires, 20 to 25, than does Joey Logano. So he will not put up much of a fight here, I don't think, on this restart.
Justin Allgaier also staying on the racetrack, and he is just in front of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the number 99, and Ricky's just in front of Joey Logano. So we've seen Ricky Stenhouse take maybe a lap or two to get up and almost comfortable with his race car before he is very competitive. We'll see how the restart goes here for Michael Annett as he brings the field out of turn number 4. All eyes on the green flag back in the air.
Joey's going to jump right to the outside of Ricky Stenhouse. As you mentioned, it takes a little bit of time, it seems, for Ricky Stenhouse to get going. And Joey Logano said, I'm not waiting.
Billy Leslie wasn't going to do it either. He is following Joey Logano around the racetrack now.
And watch these cars drive by, these cars with older tires, Rick. It's going to be amazing. You see Matt Carter also gets by Ricky Stenhouse.
Logano staying on that high line as Billy Leslie stays in the middle of the racetrack as they both work their way by Michael Annett. So they're taking away that second spot from Annett. Joey Logano out in front. Billy Leslie runs second.
And there's absolutely nothing that Michael Annett can do. All he has to do is run his own race. He has to race this racetrack. Don't worry about Joey Logano and Billy Leslie and Matt Carter, who's also going to pass him, and everybody else that has fresh tires. You just have to run your race, try to get the caution when you need it, and get back on the same cycle with these guys. Really impressed by Billy Leslie this early on. Really impressed.
And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. back up to speed now. Let's go down to Jim Trado.
And guys, the update on Ricky Stenhouse and his Jeff Campy-led crew is that they did not take tires. They went 3 rounds up on the rear track bar to get a little more free up in the center of the corner, but did not take tires. They had a long discussion on under caution, and the decision was made. And as the discussion went on about staying out and letting the guys go with the fresher tires to run the race, as you just mentioned, Phil Parsons, one thing Jeff Campy said, man, this is a long race. When I climbed up the box and asked him, he said, we only have 32 laps of green flag on our tires. We're going to have tires when it counts at the end.
And that could be extremely critical, Jim, for them to have a set of tires. If you have a caution in this race with 20 or 25 laps to go, and you have a set of tires and nobody else does, it's going to be a arrivederci.
Around lap 280. And caution comes out once again. This is the 4th one. It seems like we've got some debris on the racetrack. The Great Clips, the back of the Great Clips car is actually sitting just in front of the start-finish line. So Joey Logano is broken back up to the front of the field. Right behind him, Billy Leslie. There's that debris that we were talking about bringing out this 4th caution. Fresh tires are critical at Rockingham Speedway, and that's exactly what Joey Logano is riding on right now. Some fresh tires as he rides his way right back up to the front once again from the rock. And welcome back to Rockingham Speedway in Rockingham, North Carolina. The Carolina 500K continuing for the ARCA RE Series, the 5th race of the season. Our Aaron's lucky dog from this most recent caution, the 23 of Donnie Kelly, making his way back out onto the racetrack. We'll grab one of those laps back, and that puts him in the 23rd spot. He is obviously the end of the lead lap cars, so there are 23 on the lead lap. Again,
truck down low in the backstretch, cleaning up that debris.
Started 50 cars today at the Rock, and a guy who's envious of probably all 50 drivers, David Reagan from Roush Fenway, joining us up here in the booth. David, thanks for joining us. Now, I asked you actually in commercial break, had you ever been to this racetrack to test, and you have never been on this racetrack before competitively.
No, I would love to be out here today making some laps. Looks like these guys are having a lot of fun. I came here once with my dad several years ago and watched what then was a Busch race. Yep. And you know, always had a lot of good memories watching these races on TV. But looks like these guys are having a lot of fun. The track looks great, and I'm glad to be here.
Do you remember what year that was you came?
It was,
because Phil, you were probably driving in that race.
More than likely I was.
was
I raced against David's dad, Ken, a lot of
I
times.
think it was 98 or 99. I was just, 12 or 13 years old, just getting into racing.
Yeah. I was here. I was and racing those races. But now it's not that David hasn't raced this weekend. He raced Friday night in Richmond as well as last night in Richmond. How'd your weekend go?
It was a good weekend. You know, we finished 4th in our nationwide car. Discount tire car was really, really fast. I think probably one of our best shots at winning a race this year. And then Saturday night, it was kind of an up and down night. 400 laps at Richmond was a long race in our shoes, but we ended up 17th. We picked up a spot in points. So, it's a good feeling when you can kind of struggle and still get that top 20. So our team has definitely made some improvement from this time of year.
Do you feel like that's a maturing of you as a race car driver? I mean, even when you don't have a great car, you're still able to get good performances out of it?
A year ago this time, if we were to finish 17th, I would have sat back and said, man, that was a pretty good run for us. But now we finished 17th, and we're a little disappointed because I feel like we could have been in the top 10 or could have been in the top 12. But Jimmy Finnegan and our AAA pit crew did a great job really working on our car throughout the night. And, we got through last night, and here we are at Rockingham today enjoying some ARCA racing.
Riding along now with Ken Schrader. He's broken into the top 5. He runs in the 5th spot just behind Matt Carter.
We were talking, David, about how few drivers have any experience in here at this racetrack, and Kenny Schrader's got thousands and thousands of laps here.
Yeah, let's watch Kenny on this restart. We might learn something from him.
Kenny Schrader able to run a little bit higher on the racetrack on that restart.
And just a handful of green flag laps on this set of tires for most of these drivers out here. And he was one of the drivers that put fresh tires on the caution flag before this last one.
Matt Carter also giving us a ride around the rock. Just in front of Schrader. He's going to run a little higher line as well. He tries to get by Michael Annette in that number 28.
Too, I'm really impressed with the 18 of Billy Leslie. He's doing a great job. He's really sticking in with the 25 of Logano there. He's looking good so far in the early parts of today's race.
Obviously, Billy's never raced here, but his dad that's here with him, Tracy, raced her a number of times back in the old Busch series. So Tracy has a lot of knowledge about this racetrack.
Frank Kimmel also working his way up into the top 10. Battling with Ken Schrader for that 5th spot.
Good news out of that camp. We're going to have a sponsor on that car next week. It's going to be the Ford Drive 1 sponsorship car. They're still looking for a major sponsor, but Ford's going to come along with a little bit of help. Bill and Frank Kimmel both said they were so appreciative of what Ford does for them, and that will enable them to go to Kentucky next week for the next race on this schedule.
Matt Carter able to get by that 28 of Michael Annette. Again, Michael Annette didn't change tires, didn't come in when pretty much the entire field came down pit road. Justin Allgaier also stayed out the same pit cycle as Michael Annette is on.
Ricky Stenhouse did come down pit road for fuel and an adjustment, but no tires for Ricky Stenhouse. Lumpy's trying to save him a set.
Saving tires. Again, they came with 5 sets in the pits, and they had the 1 set on the car. Wendy, what's going on?
Yeah, as you were mentioning about Michael Annette, he is on a different pit strategy than everyone else because of that early caution, one of the first cautions we had here at Rockingham. Lap 13, they came in, and that's when they got their tires. So that's how long Michael Annette has had his tires on, but they did come back down pit road at lap 26 and do a track bar adjustment and some more fuel to that car as well. So we're a little bit off on our tires on the 28.
And I'm sure his crew chief is telling him, if you can just hang out and ride a little bit for the next 100 laps or 150 laps, we'll be good to go toward the end with some fresh sets of tires, just like the 99. Ricky Stenhouse, I'm sure he's thinking the same thing. If we can just hang out for now, toward the end of the race, we'll have some fresh tires.
Kid in the candy store. I mean, at the end of the race, the problem is, can you just hang out at Rockingham? And is that one of the most difficult things to do?